let's talk about sacred bonds, okay? Let's get to the doctor-patient relationship here. So there are certain sacred bonds in your life. The husband-wife sacred bond, nobody should get between that, right? Sacred. Don't touch it. All right? Same with parent-child. Don't tell me how to raise my kid, right? Don't get in between the parent and the child. Sacred bond, right? Priest-confessor. Sacred bond, Washington State Supreme Court just actually backed up this sacred bond. Said, no, you can't make a priest say or break confidentiality of what was said in the confessional. This is a sacred bond. Same with the attorney-client privilege, right? Can't break that. That's what the doctor-patient relationship is supposed to be. But we have third parties in the room with us, don't we? We have third parties in that exam room with us. It used to be the doctor and the patient, number one, number two, party in the room, that's it. Now we got split apart. We got pharmaceuticals, we got government coming between us, insurance companies, hospital systems. Okay? There's so much clutter and corruption. In that exam room, the doctor and the patient can barely see each other anymore. Okay? It needs to stop. We need to kick these people out of the room. Okay? Kick them out. There's only one third party that I can think of that should be allowed in this room besides the doctor and the patient. And that is that man right there. Okay? That's my opinion. It's not everybody's opinion. But if I was going to let one third party in, it would be him with a capital H. Okay? So, solutions. Price transparency. Free market. That is the solution here. Now, in 2019, President Trump wrote an executive order in his first term, it's called Executive Order 13877, to make hospitals publish what they're charging people for their 300 most common charges. Okay? And, whoa, that was a big deal. Because that's a secret. That's a secret the four entities I showed you don't want you to know. That exposes everything. So they didn't comply. Huh? They didn't comply with the presidential executive order. That's right. They didn't comply. They said, well, it's too onerous. We can't figure it out. It's too time consuming. We can't get the right numbers. I'm not lying here. Okay, so second term, Trump writes another one. Executive Order 14221, price transparency for hospitals. Nope. Didn't listen to the first one, not listening to the second one. Okay? None of the third parties want this. It exposes the deals, the schemes, the loopholes, the prices, or the kickbacks, the price gouging. It exposes it all. It's like, ooh, free market. No, we can't have that. Because if you had options, if it was a free market and you had options, you would never choose what you have now, would you? It's terrible. That's what free market is. It gives you options and you choose the better one, and then the bad ones go away then. We don't have it. Bad ones are staying and things. Okay? So, continuing on, the direct primary care model. Dr. Woodbridge is going to get up here after the break and give a talk on that model, because he's running that model here locally. Okay, so I'll leave the explanation to him. In a sentence, it is employers contracting directly with physicians to provide medical care for their employees, bypassing the insurance companies, kicking the third parties out of the room. These are the models that are needed, and independent physicians are doing the same thing, trying to do the same thing. You have to work with the third parties to some extent, but if you're independent, you can get around a lot of it. So, kick the third parties out, or at least don't have them run the whole show, and And then, here's a thought. You're paying these high premium, high deductible commercial. So what if you just paid a very low monthly payment for a high deductible catastrophic plan and then paid cash for the occasional medical need? This is a solution to this problem. Okay? I know it's maybe not one you're thinking is viable, but why are you so afraid of losing your insurance? It's not because you're afraid of paying cash to your family care provider for the cold that you have. It's because you're afraid of the heart attack. You're afraid of the cancer diagnosis. You're afraid of the car accident. These things will bankrupt you if they happen, these catastrophic things. So have insurance for that. But the cash model is very viable outside of those catastrophic situations. You can get back to a free market, the only one proven to work. So this is my last example. It's called the echocardiogram example, okay? So an echocardiogram is an ultrasound of the heart. It's about a 45-minute ultrasound exam. It's very involved. It takes years and years to learn how to read these things. I do them in my office, okay? And if you come to me and get an echo, I'll do it in my office. I will read it. I will call you the next day myself, and I'll charge you $600 cash, okay? Or the other option is to pay your high deductible, high premium plan that hurts you every month, and then go have this echo done at a hospital. That's where everyone goes to have these done. It's the only place to go, mostly, right? So, what are they going to charge you in the hospital for this echo? $4,500. Okay, so, but you don't pay $4,500 because you have insurance, and you're going to run it through their insurance. You're going to run it through their insurance, and they're going to cover $3,700 of it, and you only pay $800. So, you get this thing in the mail. It makes you feel good. You're like, a $4,500 test. Boom, 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 boom. They show the bottom line number. It's like a psyop. Okay, they're really hooking you. And then you say, oh my gosh, I only owe $800 on this $4,500 test. I can never live without this insurance. I have to do anything I can to hold on to this. I'll work an extra 10 years just to not lose this insurance because I can't pay $4,500 for this echo. I need this insurance to get it down to $800. When in reality, the $800 is the whole cost of the test. The rest goes to the system. It's a scam. Okay, so it would be like a store doubling the price of everything in the store the day before it has a 50% off sale. Okay? You think you're getting a deal, but you're getting screwed. Please understand, the costs of these tests are not that high. They're jacking them up. Okay? So, let's summarize. I think I'm under the hour, Dan. I think I'm doing good. All right. So, bottom line is, the system is broken. It's absolutely broken, and it's broken beyond repair. There is no tweak or tweaks of this system that are going to fix it. Please don't believe there is. It's being run as a corporation, and medicine was never meant to be run as a corporation. Medicine is supposed to be different. Medicine is between a doctor and a patient, and a corporation has nothing to do with that. Okay? These third-party dominated systems, they will fail. They have to fail. This is not my opinion. This is not conspiracy theory. This is what happens in America. And any third-party dominated system will fail. Why? Why will they fail? One of the most basic human instincts, greed. Okay? These third parties will devour themselves out of greed. Their thirst for money and power is insatiable. They cannot get enough. They will take and take and take until there's nothing left. That's where it's headed. This is exactly where it's headed. Free market is the only way to do this. We've got to get back to the doctor-patient relationship. If I could just leave you with this. Don't think this is too big for you. Don't think this is too big for us to change this. It's not. They want you to think that. These four monstrosities want you to think that. Because then you give up. You don't try. It's exactly what they want. Okay? We don't have to settle for this. We can do better. We can do so much better. Please, if I can just implore you, don't give up. There's no executive order coming from the president that's going to fix this. Congress is not going to fix this. You know it. Most of them are on the payroll of one of these entities, by the way. They're not going to fix it. Anytime something like this happens, it comes from grassroots. Anytime something like this has gotten fixed in American history, it starts here. Grassroots movements, like the people in this room. It can start right here in Northeast Wisconsin. Okay? No one's going to fix this for us. It's up to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. You know, I did not know what Scott was going to say tonight. I knew a rough idea, but I didn't know the particulars. And it strikes me how you figured out ways to say what you and I both know. You're just saying it different than how I would say it. But it all comes back to some simple, basic truths. You levied a pretty serious charge about corruption. How do we know that there's corruption? Do we have to establish? That's a pretty serious charge, right? I would invert that. Like you said, the kind word is self-interest. Another word is greed. People are greedy. And if you give people power and you give them a big organization, it's complex, it's not accessible, you don't have transparent pricing, you've got enough power to be in bed with the regulators and the policing agencies, I say we flip that. The burden of proof is on them to show us they're not corrupt, because that's the perfect storm for corruption. And you mentioned a lot about incentives. That's where it's at. It's all about incentives. John Lochner is a friend of Physicians for Freedom. Kathy's here. John, I think, is on a trip someplace. John introduced me to Tom Madden, and we were talking about this, the incentives. Doctors and patients share common incentives. They want good medicine. They want to take care of each other. They want to strengthen that doctor-patient bond, that trust. And dare I even say it, that love. It's a sacred trust. But who else is in this healthcare system of ours? The government, insurance, hospital systems, pharmaceutical companies. What are their incentives? Only employers in that system share with patients the incentive to have good quality, efficient medical care, to keep their employees healthy, to keep them productive longer, to eliminate turnover. That's profit for companies. So employers and patients share the incentives with doctors. And guess what else they share? The free market. If you have a free market, you're encouraging innovation. You're encouraging price efficiency and transparency. You can't have a free market without price transparency. So all of these things align. And John Lochner in my office one day, he said, "So how are you going to fix it?" And I didn't have my usual 10 minutes for an answer. I said, "Well, it's pretty simple. If you have a system that's broken and the power controlling the system is in the hands of those who break it, you can't fix that system from within. Doctors and patients do not have the power. Government, insurance, pharmaceuticals, hospitals, employers have power. But if we leave it to government and insurance and pharmaceutical and hospitals to fix it, just like you said, they're going to grind it, they're going to strangle it every last bit of breath until it gets too bad that we can't take it anymore, which is why we are here tonight." All right, I do like to talk, don't I? Really, I have to acknowledge that. We're going to take a 10-minute break, all right? 10 minutes, get up, stretch your legs, do whatever people do on 10-minute breaks, and then we'll be back with Brian Woodbridge and our panel. Thank you.